Hello everybody, thank you so much for stopping by. I am ChitChad and welcome to another build episode of Planet Coaster where we are working on a Mario themed theme park. And first and foremost, I just have to say thank you so much to everyone that supported the first episode of this series. It was an amazing amount of feedback and I just want to let you know I really appreciate it. I think right now it's kind of, I don't want to be wrong, but I think it's like over 2,000 views right now. Like kind of close to 3, and that's super cool. It just tells me that you all miss the Planet Coaster content. I miss creating it, and I'm always gonna say this, I'm really excited for when we're able to kind of incorporate both of my channels together, because like I said, once we get into the more art and animation kind of things, that's going to be on the main channel, but I'm going to incorporate that stuff onto this one. So for instance, I have the idea that we'll have some Yoshi characters that will be animated on the screens that we have in Planet Coaster. So I'm going to be doing that animation on the main channel and then bringing that final animation over here and using them on the screens. Same thing for when we add like park signs and different like loading instruction animations. We could have like some cute toads kind of like explaining how you're supposed to like, you know, get inside of the coaster, those informative signs and stuff like that. So it's going to be really fun. I'm definitely looking forward to it. And so if you're into art and animation and you haven't checked out my main channel, I'm going to throw a card at the top right if you want to check that out. Again, I would really appreciate it. But for this episode, we're going to be focusing on some scenery pieces, which include some of the hills that you see from Super Mario World. We're also going to be making the Piranha Plants, and we're going to be making a Goomba. So lots of cool stuff in this episode. Also, we're going to be kind of doing the framework for the coaster station for this ride. And I know you're probably thinking like, wow, that hill looks like a lumpy blue pickle. And yes, I agree. And it will look a little bit better in a second, especially when we add more of the hills and change like the color of them. So there's some lighter ones and there's some darker ones. And then we'll add the flat versions of them that I made for the previous park. You may be wondering, you know, why I'm mixing these three-dimensional objects with the two-dimensional objects, and that's because, you know, I want to keep this semi-realistic, so I kind of feel that if you're, you know, in a coaster and it's wrapping around kind of an object, then maybe it should be three-dimensional, where if it's just like a background object, they would probably build it flat, you know what I mean? I'm definitely... I see those super like dream build coaster makers, and those videos are so amazing. Like some of the stuff that I've seen just like blows my mind. So you have like the dream build makers, and then you have the makers that are like super detailed and like, you know, they want to make sure that this coaster is as accurate as it can be and it would work in the real world. And I like to think I kind of fall somewhere in the middle of that. Like I'm not super realistic, but I'm not super like dream build, you know what I mean? I'm kind of like I said, I'm kind of in between, and that's where I like my builds to kind of be, you know? It's like if money were no object and if physics didn't always apply, this could be real. So the first thing I wanted to build as far as characters for the Mario Park is the Piranha Plants. I thought it was a good, you know, starter up character, because I'll tell you what, building these things inside a Planet Coaster, building any character inside a Planet Coaster is a challenge. It's always a challenge, and every character provides a new challenge. And I'm not going to say I am an expert at building these things inside a Planet Coaster, because, man, I'm going to be honest, I make it up as I go. And I'm just like, this kind of works. Like, I have a general idea of kind of like where to start just based off of all the characters that I've previously made, especially Sonic. I built Sonic in the first version of the video game park, and that, oh my gosh, that was so difficult. But ever since then, I've kind of had an idea of at least where to start. But as far as each and every individual character, it's always just a bit different. There's a couple of things that I'll try to apply in each one of them because I know it works, but there's always a little bit of trickery. I would say the second hardest build that I've done so far was the Onyx from the Pokemon area of the original video game theme park, but I really like how that Onyx turned out. That's probably, besides Sonic, that's probably my favorite build piece that I've done so far. So I wanted to make a little bit of an announcement because we had a lot of really good names for this Yoshi coaster, but I have picked a winner. And judging by the like ratio on the comment, it looks like all of you like this name as well. So I just want to, first of all, I just want to say super thank you to everyone that suggested a name. I like them all, and I really appreciate it. And just because your name didn't get chosen, just please don't take offense to it. There will be plenty of other opportunities to name the other rides in this park. But the name I decided on was submitted by ZTG, and the comment says, you should call it Yoshi's Hills. Well, guess what, ZTG? That's exactly what we're going to be calling it. This ride is now officially named Yoshi's Hills. And I really like it too, because that's exactly what it is. It's just a bunch of hills, because it's supposed to be kind of like a kiddie coaster. So again, thank you all so much who submitted names. And again, it's not going to be the last opportunity. There's going to be plenty of other, not just coasters and not just dark rides, but there's going to be plenty of other just kind of random, well, not random, but some of the flat rides, you know, those will need names as well. So right now we're kind of building the framework of the coaster station. And like I said, this is a framework. It's definitely not going to be the final look. And I kind of did this whole recording session for about 2 days solid. I think Saturday and Sunday I did nothing but record Planet Coaster. So in my mind, I'm like way ahead to kind of when this area of the park is finalized. So it's really interesting to go back and see, you know, just for me, it's interesting because I kind of forgot the process of some of the things that I built. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's how I did it. Okay. Because for me, I'm like, oh yeah, that was like hours ago. You know, I wasn't even, sometimes I just like turn the brain off because I kind of, once you start placing objects, it's like, okay, place, move, place more, you know, copy, paste, here we go. So again, it's exciting for me to go back and watch this stuff because it's like I'm building it all over again. Especially when I'm much farther along in the build process in reality versus when I'm making the video. And I know that sounds confusing. Trust me, it's confusing to talk about. It's like time travel almost. So the idea that I had for the ending of this ride, and I'm really excited for it because again, it's going to be a cool opportunity to incorporate animation and art into this park and to merge the two channels, kind of like not merge them literally, but to incorporate both channels in on these projects, is that I want to have kind of like a Yoshi kind of like celebrating and dancing ending. So the ride's going to turn into like a pseudo dark ride right at the end, and we're going to have several screens, and it's going to be a bunch of Yoshis celebrating and dancing like, yay, you made it through the adventure type thing, you know? Very kind of like Yoshi's Story or Yoshi's Woolly World. I haven't decided on a style yet, but it's going to be, probably be my own thing, seeing as I'm going to be the one animating it and drawing it, so I'm excited for it because I want to do like a bunch of celebrating Yoshis and then maybe do a couple of individual Yoshis that we can place throughout the ride or just in other areas of the park. You know, there's a lot of things that we can do with the screens, and I'm excited to start working with them because the only time I've actually used them was to test them out, and I used my old animated intro just to see what they look like. And I was worried that the compression was going to make the videos look all garbage, but it actually looks really good. And it makes me so excited because like, oh, the animation's going to look clean and pristine and non-compressed. And oh, I'm so excited. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, one of my least favorite things is laying out the line. I'm just like, especially because you have to, if you want to do the square paths, you kind of have to like deselect and select grid and then move it. And especially if you're doing inclines or declines, you have to like remove it, select it, remove it, and it's like, oh, it takes so long. There's probably like a quick key that I don't even know about, but if there is, great. I hope I figure that out soon. If there's not, please make one. Planet Coaster, please make some quick keys for some of this stuff because it takes so long. Okay, so I wanted to also answer some questions because I get a lot of the same questions on these videos, and I do answer them back, and I think it might be easier if I just kind of answer these in a video as well, just to kind of avoid answering the same questions over and over again. And first of all, I don't want it to make it seem like I'm not gonna do these things because they're bad ideas. That is not the case at all. It's only a case of either it will take too much time, and these projects take a really long time. Like again, what may be a 15 to 20 minute video for you is hours of work for me. and I do like doing it, but if I'm going to make this stuff, I have to be super passionate about the franchise that it's based off of. Otherwise, it's gonna be brutal, you know what I mean? So I have to be really passionate about the franchise and what I'm basing it off of in order to get through with these videos. So I do get a lot of great suggestions, and I wish I could build them all, but I just have to be realistic and be like, there's no way I'm gonna get to all that stuff. So there are a couple of suggestions that I would like to get through. Let's start with the positives. So there's a couple of them that I'm like, yes, I would love to do that one day. A couple people have asked for a Donkey Kong ride or a Donkey Kong themed area. I'm like, yes, that would be great. I would love to do that someday. I love the Donkey Kong franchise. Ever since the original ones on the, well, I guess they're not, you wouldn't call those original, but Donkey Kong Country. I love those games. I really like Tropical Freeze, which I think that was a Wii U game. I think that's the last one I played. I like that game a lot. So I don't know if I'll get to one, but I'm just saying it's a great idea and I would like to someday. Another one that's really great is Legend of Zelda. Yes, I would love to do that one day, especially if I could do a Wind Waker themed water ride. It has always been in my mind since the whole idea of a video game theme park was brought up. So I would like to make that happen one day. I just don't know when it's gonna happen. So those suggestions are really great, and I do get a lot of suggestions about Undertale, and I don't want to disappoint anybody, but I haven't actually beaten that game yet, so I don't even know what the ending is. I was playing it over on the Super Geek Friends channel with my good friend Sarah for many episodes. In fact, we called it Drunk Tale because we were always drinking for those episodes because it made it really fun to read the character voices, but I actually don't know. I still don't know it hasn't even been spoiled for me. And don't any of you spoil it in the comments down below. That would be so mean. Don't do that. Because I definitely want to go and finish that game. But yes, it would be really cool to make an Undertale ride because I love the aesthetic of the game. I love the sprites. I love everything about it. The music's great. Just, it's a fun game. I probably wouldn't make a full theme park about it. I would probably do an indie like plaza and just have a bunch of indie titles because I would love to do a Shovel Knight ride as well. But I wouldn't want to theme whole lands to them. So I think the way to do it is definitely do like an indie plaza, and we just put a couple of indie rides. Almost think of it like Fantasyland from Disneyland. You know, you've got a bunch of different properties and they're kind of mini rides. You know, they're mini dark rides. I think that would work really well for indie games. You know, they're smaller games. They're more story-driven games more often than not. So I think it would be cooler to make them kind of like small rides. You know, I think that would work out really well. So that's probably, if we do those kind of indie titles, you know, whether it's Shovel Knight, whether it's, I get FNAF a lot, so that would probably go in there, and also Undertale. I think, again, that would be really cool if we did just kind of like a couple of mini builds and make it like a little plaza area. I think that would be really fun. So that's definitely in the noggin. It's definitely a plan for future builds. So now here are the ones that, again, they're not bad ideas at all, but I'm not a particular fan of them, so they're probably not going to happen. So I do apologize for that. I do get a lot of SpongeBob for some reason. And again, it's not a bad idea. It's just I'm not a huge fan of SpongeBob, so it's probably not something I'm going to do. And then the other one that I get all the time is Minecraft. And you know, people build some amazing things in Minecraft. I myself even tried once to build like an epic tree house, and then I ended up like, it didn't look good, so I'm like, all right, this thing has to go. And I think I dropped like a lava block on it and just watched it go up in flames. And it was fun to watch, but other than that, like, Minecraft just kind of isn't my thing, and it surprises me actually because I love Legos and I love building things, so I would think that like Minecraft would kind of fit with what I enjoy, but it for some reason, I don't know if it's like the aesthetic, like, I don't know, something just about it doesn't click with me. So again, I do apologize, but like, I'm probably not going to end up doing a park based off of that, but I'm sure they exist somewhere. I'm sure there's like another like really cool creator that's already done that. So again, I do feel bad. Like, I don't want to ever say like no to ideas. And again, it's not because they're bad. They're not bad at all. They're great ideas. It's just, I'm not gonna make them, so I'm sorry. All right, so now that we got all that out of the way, I am now moving on to building a Goomba, which I realize I made way too stinking big. That's the one thing that I always kind of fall into, is making these custom characters way too big, because to be honest, it's really hard to make these things small. Just because you start losing the ability to use a lot of the pieces as like detailed accent pieces, and not all the pieces have a good in-between scale, which drives me crazy. I wish there was, and I've said this before on so many other videos, I wish there was a way to scale the objects. That would be so amazing. But there's not. So we just gotta do it the hard way. And so I know right now he looks a bit like an angry poop emoji. Now that I'm looking at it, that Goomba looks like an angry poop emoji. I promise he'll look a little bit better in like 2 seconds. I promise. These things are fun to make, and I'm glad to be doing like kind of a combo of, you know, building these things out in the real, not the real world, but like building them out inside a Planet Coaster, and then doing the more complex stuff, you know, using screens, because that's something they'd probably do in a real theme park. I mean, just look at Universal. They use screens for everything. Not judging you, Universal, I love you, but you gotta make some non-screen rides too every once in a while. So I think it's fun to do kind of a combo of the two. I would like to add more characters. Obviously, we'll be making them, you know, as we continue through the park, but some of them I already know are gonna be really difficult, like Koopa Troopas. Oh, they're gonna be crazy hard to make, so I don't know. I'm looking forward to the challenge, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be really difficult. Another thing, oh, now that I'm thinking about it, you know how cool would it be? I think the best game I can use as a reference is Little Big Planet. Little Big Planet, you can like make really cool objects, but then link them to motors so that they can actually move. How cool would it be if you could actually link like these custom objects to motors like that so they can move? Oh my gosh, that would be so cool. Putting that on the dream list. So like always, we're gonna end things off with a couple of beauty shots so we can show off all the work that's been done for this episode. And we're gonna be doing a ride-on video of the Yoshi's Hills roller coaster in its current form. Thank you so much for watching this content. I super appreciate it. You all are absolutely amazing. Go have a fantastic day, be creative, and as always, I will chat with you later.